Let me tell you a story about a girl. She was sweet, kind, the kind of person who always saw the good in people even when they absolutely didn't deserve it. And if I'm being honest, she learned the hard way that blood doesn't make you family. She grew up thinking she had the perfect life. One house, 2 loving parents, no siblings, no drama, just unconditional love and attention. She used to call them mom and dad like any other kid would, but what she didn't know until later was that they weren't her biological parents. Technically, her mom was actually her aunt. Her biological mother had given her up as a baby because she couldn't raise a child at the time. So instead of giving her to strangers, she gave her to her sister. Now listen, say what you want, but the woman who raises you, that's your real mom, period. And these two, they gave her everything. A homemade treehouse in the backyard, birthday parties every year, piano lessons, love, laughter, forgiveness when she messed up. And she did mess up. She was a kid. But they never yelled. They never made her feel like a burden. They treated her like she was their miracle. And she believed it. Honestly, I wish the story ended here. So, the day she turns 18, right? Her parents are throwing her this sweet little birthday brunch. There's a chocolate cake, some photos of her growing up, balloons everywhere, totally normal. And then there's a knock at the door. She opens it, and boom. There's this tall man in a navy blue suit standing on the porch. He doesn't smile. He doesn't introduce himself right away, just looks at her. Her mom? Frozen. Her dad. He walks out of the room. And that man says, "I'm your biological father, David." Excuse me? Now at this point, I would have slammed the door and said, "You're 18 years too late." But she's curious, confused. And let's be real, she's human. So when David says he waited until she was old enough to make her own decision, and that he can offer her a better future, private school, money, siblings, a real family, she starts wondering, what if I'm missing something? Bestie, you weren't missing anything except trauma. That's what was waiting for you. After a lot of arguments and late night talks and emotional blackmail, yeah, I said it, she decides to go. She packs up 18 years of memories into 2 suitcases and leaves the only people who ever truly loved her to move in with a complete stranger. David, her real dad. And let me tell you, if love was measured in square footage, this guy had it all. Massive house, chandeliers, a closet bigger than her childhood bedroom, a car with a red bow on it. But none of it felt like home. She had a new stepmom, a woman named Valerie, who was always dressed to perfection, but smiled like she was hiding a knife in her teeth. Then there were the half-siblings, Emily and Jason. High school golden children with judgmental eyes and designer shoes. They didn't bully her, not outright, but they didn't welcome her either. She was a guest, a burden, a loose end. And they made sure she knew it. At first she tried to bond, tried to talk, even offered to help around the house. But they ignored her. And eventually, she gave up. Honestly, I would have too. No amount of forced family dinners makes up for being treated like you're invading someone else's life. So after a month of weird tension, emotional isolation, and fake smiles, she decides, I'm done. She wanted to go home, back to her real parents, the ones who raised her, the ones who loved her before she even knew what love was. But instead of just asking to leave, she tried a different strategy: sabotage. She started fighting with her siblings, left messes in the kitchen, skipped family brunches, slammed doors, blasted music, made scenes, anything to make herself seem like a bad fit. You know what happened? Nothing. Her stepmom would pat her on the back and say, "You're just adjusting, sweetheart." Her siblings would smirk. Her dad? Silent. And that should have been her red flag right there. Because they wanted her to blow up. They were counting on it. One night, she couldn't sleep, got up to get water. And that's when she overheard them. Her stepmom and siblings in the living room, laughing. Emily. If she keeps this up, Dad will write her out. Valerie, the stepmom. I'll make sure of it. She's not getting a dime. Jason. Let her self-destruct. We'll look like the sane ones. And that's when it clicked. The whole thing, the invitation, the fake kindness, the opportunity, it was a setup. They brought her in just to push her out. Because David, he was planning to give her a share of the inheritance. And they couldn't have that. So they were setting her up to fail. And I don't care what your last name is, if someone pulls you into their life just to break you, that is not your family. That's a hit job. While all this manipulation was going on, guess what her real parents were doing? They were falling apart. Her mom kept calling, crying, saying, "Please just come back. We'll fix everything." Her dad? He shut down completely. Stopped going to work, stopped speaking. Eventually, they started blaming each other. Her mom said, "You never should have let her leave." Her dad said, "You kept the truth from her too long." And just like that, the home she once had, gone. They divorced. When she found out about the divorce, she lost it. The guilt, the shame, the pain. Everything hit her all at once. She wrote them both a long letter, apologizing, telling them she'd made a mistake, telling them she wanted to come home. And then she drank half a bottle of poison. She woke up in a hospital bed, covered in wires. Guess who was crying beside her? David, of course. Now that the damage was done, the will had been changed, and his perfect little family was preserved. Now he had tears. He said he was sorry. Said he never meant for any of this to happen. But it was too late. She went back to her old city, but not to the same home. Her mom had moved into a small apartment. Her dad lived with his brother. They loved her, they did, but there was this heaviness. Like something inside them had broken and it couldn't be glued back together. She tried to settle back into a normal life, but the damage was done. And now, years later, she doesn't talk to David, doesn't speak to Emily, Jason, or that venomous stepmom. She's in therapy, works part-time at a small bakery, still has the scrapbook her mom made for her 18th birthday. She reads it when things feel too heavy. She thought she was gaining a father, but she lost everything in the process. And for what? A lie wrapped in a mansion. Thanks for listening. Protect your peace. And never, ever let anyone make you question who truly loves you. I'll see you in the next one.